Have you ever wondered if one simple mistake before a blood test could ruin your results and put your health at risk? For many older adults, that's not just frustrating, it can be dangerous. The truth is, certain everyday habits you might not think twice about can quietly sabotage your test results, making them look worse or sometimes better than they really are. And when that happens, your doctor may be making decisions based on numbers that don't reflect your true health. As someone who has spent decades learning from the insights of experienced heart specialists, I can tell you that avoiding a few simple mistakes before a blood test can mean the difference between an accurate diagnosis and months of unnecessary worry or treatment. This isn't about making your results look perfect. It's about giving your doctor the clearest, truest picture of your heart, your blood, and your overall health, so you can make the best choices for yourself. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 things you should never do before a blood test. If you want to protect your health and avoid needless complications, and stay with me until the very end, because the last one is something almost no one talks about, yet it can have one of the biggest impacts on your results. 1. Drinking coffee or tea before your test. One of the most common mistakes I see is people drinking their usual morning coffee or tea before a blood test, thinking it can't possibly do any harm. After all, it's just a beverage, right? The problem is, both coffee and tea contain caffeine and natural compounds that can trigger short-term changes in your body chemistry. They can temporarily raise your blood pressure, speed up your heart rate, and even alter certain hormone levels. More importantly, they can affect your blood sugar readings, and sometimes your cholesterol measurements. Even if you drink it black, without sugar or cream, your body's reaction to caffeine can cause subtle shifts in your test results. Shifts that might be enough to make your doctor think something is wrong when it's not. I once knew a man named Robert, 74 years old, who went in for a routine heart checkup. He had his usual cup of strong coffee before heading to the clinic. When the results came back, his fasting blood sugar was much higher than expected, and his heart rate was elevated. His doctor ordered more tests, which left him anxious for weeks. When they finally repeated the blood work, this time without the morning coffee, everything came back normal. Those unnecessary weeks of worry could have been avoided with one simple change. It's not just about sugar levels. Caffeine stimulates your adrenal glands, which release stress hormones like cortisol. This can influence your body's metabolism and skew results that depend on a fasting state. Some blood tests are extremely sensitive to any deviation from a true fast, and the instructions to have nothing but water before the test are not suggestions. They are there for a reason. Ignoring them can lead to a false picture of your health, and in some cases, unnecessary treatments. For older adults who often have multiple health conditions, monitored through regular blood tests, accuracy is critical. Your heart health, kidney function, and even medication adjustments might depend on those numbers. If your blood test is supposed to be fasting, the safest choice is to stick to plain water until it's done. Think of it as an investment in your own peace of mind. That one cup of coffee or tea can wait an hour or two, but the stress of a false alarm could last for days. 2. Taking your morning medications without guidance. Many seniors are in the habit of taking their prescribed pills first thing in the morning, often with barely a sip of water before they've even thought about breakfast. It's an ingrained routine, one that feels natural after years of following the same schedule. But before a blood test, especially one that's checking fasting levels or specific organ functions, taking your medication without asking your doctor can lead to misleading results. Certain drugs, including common heart medications, diuretics, or even over-the-counter vitamins and supplements, can temporarily alter your electrolyte balance, blood sugar, and other important markers. In some cases, they can mask a problem that should be detected, or worse, make a healthy number look dangerously abnormal. I remember meeting a woman named Carol, 78 years old, who went in for her regular heart checkup. She was taking a diuretic every morning to help with fluid retention. and she didn't think twice about swallowing it before her fasting blood test. When her results came back, her potassium levels were alarmingly low, and her kidney function looked worse than it really was. This led to unnecessary worry, extra appointments, and even a medication change that wasn't needed. Once her doctor realized she had taken the diuretic before the test, they redid the blood work under the right conditions, and her numbers were fine. This isn't about skipping your medicine recklessly or going against medical advice. It's about understanding that timing matters. Some medications should be taken before a test, others after, and your doctor is the one who should decide which is which. If you're unsure, the safest path is to ask your healthcare provider or pharmacist well in advance. Bring a list of all your medications, including vitamins and herbal supplements, and let them guide you on what to take and what to hold until after the blood is drawn. Remember, your test results are like a snapshot of your health at that moment in time. If something in your routine distorts that snapshot, you could end up chasing problems that don't exist or missing ones that do. Protect your accuracy, protect your peace of mind, and make sure your medication routine matches the requirements of your blood test. 3. Eating a heavy breakfast before a fasting blood test. One of the most common mistakes I've seen is when someone hears the word fasting, but thinks it just means skipping their coffee or eating a light breakfast. The truth is, if your test requires fasting, even a small meal can throw off the results in ways that surprise you. Eating a heavy breakfast, especially one high in sugar, refined carbs, or fatty foods before a blood draw, can lead to inaccurate readings for glucose, cholesterol, and triglycerides. These numbers are often used to assess your risk for heart disease, diabetes, and other serious conditions, so it's not something to take lightly. I recall a gentleman named Harold, 74, who had his annual lab work scheduled early one morning. He thought he was being smart by having a couple of slices of toast with jam and a glass of orange juice, figuring it wasn't much. But when his results came back, his triglycerides were almost double the normal range and his blood sugar was higher than usual. His doctor was ready to put him on medication until Harold admitted he had eaten breakfast that morning. When they repeated the test under true fasting conditions, the numbers were significantly better. That unnecessary scare could have been avoided with the right preparation. The reason fasting is important is because your body is constantly processing food into glucose and fats, and these circulate in your bloodstream for hours after a meal. If your blood is drawn while these levels are still high, your results won't reflect your normal baseline. They'll reflect the meal you just ate. For people over 70, this is especially important because doctors are watching for subtle changes over time, and they need a consistent picture from one test to the next. If you're told to fast, that means no food at all, only water for the period your doctor specifies, usually 8 to 12 hours before the test. It's not about punishing yourself or going hungry for no reason. It's about giving your medical team the clearest, most accurate snapshot of your health so they can make the best decisions for you. When you understand that a few hours of skipping breakfast can prevent months of unnecessary worry, or even the wrong treatment, it suddenly feels like a small price to pay. 4. Engaging in strenuous exercise before the test. Many seniors think a good workout the day of their blood test will show the doctor how active they are. But in reality, intense exercise right before a draw can distort the results. When you engage in strenuous activity, especially weightlifting, jogging, or even brisk walking for a long period, your muscles release enzymes, lactic acid, and other byproducts into the bloodstream. This can raise certain markers like creatine kinase, which might be mistaken for signs of heart or muscle damage. It can also temporarily alter your blood sugar and electrolyte balance, giving your healthcare provider an inaccurate picture of your typical state. I remember speaking with a woman named Louise, 68, who prided herself on her morning fitness routine. On the day of her cholesterol and blood sugar test, she went for her usual 2-mile power walk, feeling energized and proud of her commitment to health. When her results came back, her potassium levels were slightly elevated, and her blood sugar was lower than her normal range. Her doctor was concerned and ordered additional testing, which caused her a week of anxiety. Once she shared that she had exercised that morning, it became clear that her results were skewed by the physical activity. Exercise is wonderful for the heart, bones, and mind, but when it comes to lab work, timing matters. The changes in your blood after a workout are temporary, but they're enough to confuse a doctor who's looking for stable, consistent results over time. And for seniors, especially those being monitored for heart conditions or metabolic issues, accuracy is vital in guiding treatment decisions. If you have a blood test scheduled, it's best to skip your usual morning workout and stick to light movements like gentle stretching. Save your walk, swim, or gym session for after your blood has been drawn. Think of it as pressing pause for a few hours to ensure the information your doctor gets is true to your normal daily health. That one small adjustment can spare you from unnecessary retesting, medical costs, and needless worry. 5. Drinking alcohol the night before. A glass of wine or a small drink with dinner might feel harmless. But alcohol the night before a blood test can throw your results off in ways you might not expect. Even moderate amounts can affect your liver enzymes, triglycerides, and blood sugar. For heart patients or those being checked for cardiovascular risk, these markers are essential in determining how well your body's functioning. A sudden spike in liver enzyme levels, for example, might make your doctor suspect an underlying liver problem, when in fact it's just your body processing alcohol from the night before. I once knew a man named Harold, 74, who had a routine blood panel scheduled the evening before he attended a small family gathering and enjoyed a couple of beers. When his results came in, his triglycerides were noticeably higher, and his liver enzyme levels had doubled compared to his previous test. His doctor was alarmed and recommended further imaging to rule out liver disease. Harold went through weeks of stress, only to later realize that his numbers had likely been influenced by his drinking the night before. On his follow-up test after avoiding alcohol, everything returned to normal. Alcohol can also dehydrate you, making your veins harder to find and potentially making the blood draw more uncomfortable. It can lower your blood sugar too much or cause it to fluctuate, which matters greatly for anyone being monitored for diabetes or prediabetes. And for heart health, even small irregularities in these numbers can lead to changes in medication or unnecessary worry. If you have a blood test scheduled, the safest approach is to skip alcohol for at least 24 hours beforehand. This ensures that your body is in its natural state and your results are an accurate reflection of your true health. That way, you and your doctor can make decisions based on facts, not on temporary changes caused by a drink. A single evening without alcohol can save you from confusion, repeat testing, and the kind of anxiety no one needs at this stage in life. Final thoughts. The older we get, the more important it becomes to protect our health by making thoughtful choices, especially before something as routine as a blood test. These tests are not just numbers on a page. They are snapshots of how our heart, liver, kidneys, and overall body are functioning at that exact moment. When we take small but important precautions, like avoiding certain foods, habits, or activities beforehand, we give ourselves the best chance of getting results that reflect our true health. That means fewer false alarms, fewer unnecessary procedures, and more peace of mind knowing the information is accurate. I've seen too many good people, friends, neighbors, even family, go through needless stress because of results that were skewed by something as simple as a late-night snack, a morning coffee, or a bit of alcohol the night before. Sometimes, the hardest part of getting older isn't the physical changes, but the way small oversights can create big problems. The good news is those oversights are entirely avoidable if we know what to watch out for. At this stage in life, we deserve clarity, not confusion. We deserve to work with our doctors from a place of accuracy and trust. And that starts with understanding how our everyday choices, right up to the hours before a test, can shape the story those lab results tell. So next time you see a blood test on your calendar, think of it as an opportunity to prepare your body with care. Rather than just another medical appointment, a little awareness can save you from a lot of unnecessary worry. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.